Imagine waking up at 3 a.m., your apartment is freezing cold, the lights are flickering like a horror movie, and suddenly, your smart speaker starts laughing at you. For Sarah, this wasn't a glitch, it was a game. And the person holding the controller was the man she used to love. Meet Sarah, she's 27, ambitious, and she just landed what looks like the ultimate upgrade. We're talking a high-end, smart integrated condo in the heart of Silicon Valley. The kind of place that costs more per month than most people make in a year. But Sarah didn't pay for this with cash, she paid for it with a breakup. She finally dumped Mark. Mark wasn't just a boyfriend. He was a tech bro with a capital T, a genius coder, sure, but also a total control freak. The relationship was suffocating. He wanted to track her location, read her texts, the whole 9 yards, so Sarah called it quits. She kept the apartment which Mark designed and kicked him to the curb, or so she thought. This place runs on Omni. It's the proprietary smart home system Mark built from scratch. It controls the locks, the temp, the blinds, the cameras. Literally everything. Sarah thinks it's a perk. She thinks she's living the Bougie life, totally unbothered. But across town, in a basement that smells like energy drinks and resentment, Mark is wide awake. See, most people change the locks after a breakup, but you can't change the locks when the lock is a line of code buried deep in a server. Sarah changed her Netflix password, sure, but she forgot the most important thing. Mark still has admin access. Mark isn't ready to move on. He's got zero chill, and he's about to turn Sarah's sanctuary into a psychological war zone. It starts small, tiny little glitches, stuff you can explain away. A flickering light here, a volume spike there, just enough to be annoying but not enough to call the cops. It's classic gaslighting 101. Sarah thinks the system is just buggy. She thinks it's a hardware malfunction. She has no idea that she's the mouse and the cat is watching her in 4K resolution. The show is just beginning, and tonight, nobody is getting any sleep. The next morning, Sarah wakes up groggy. The blinds had opened by themselves in the middle of the night, but she convinces herself she just hit the wrong button on the app. She's trying to stay rational. She heads to the shower to wash off the stress. She asks Omni for morning mode, warm water, soft lighting, but the moment she steps in, the water doesn't come out warm, it blasts out scalding hot, like burn your skin hot. Sarah screams and jumps back, slipping on the wet tile. She slams her elbow against the wall. When she yells at Omni to turn it off, the system ignores her. It takes a full 10 seconds before the water cuts. Sarah is shaken. That wasn't just a glitch. That was dangerous, but again. Technology fails, right? It happens. She gets dressed, agitated. She's running late for work. She grabs her bag and heads for the front door. She taps the smart lock pad. Nothing. She pulls the handle. It's jammed tight. The keypad glows red and says, "System rebooting." She's trapped for 5 agonizing minutes. Sarah is locked inside her own apartment. She starts pounding on the door, panic rising in her chest. She grabs her phone to call the building manager and click, the door suddenly pops open, just like that. Sarah rushes out, gasping for air. She thinks she's escaping the bad vibes, but as she gets into her car, her phone buzzes. It's a text from an unknown number. It just says, "You look stressed, Sarah. Maybe you should stay home today." Her blood runs cold. She looks up at her apartment window. The blinds are moving again. This isn't a bug. Someone is messing with her. Sarah isn't stupid. She knows that text message wasn't a coincidence. She calls the landlord, demanding a system reset. But here's the thing about smart buildings. The landlord is just a guy with an iPad. He checks the logs and says, "Everything looks normal, Sarah. Maybe you just need some sleep." Mark has spoofed the system logs. To the outside world, the apartment is functioning perfectly. Sarah looks like the crazy one. That night, she decides to go analog. She grabs a roll of duct tape and goes room to room, covering every single camera lens. The living room, the hallway, even the tiny sensor on the fridge. She's cutting off Mark's eyes. For a few hours silence, she thinks she's won this round. She sits on the couch, clutching a baseball bat, waiting. But Mark, he's furious. He's staring at a wall of black screens in his basement. If he can't see her, he's going to make sure she hears him. At 2:00 a.m., the silence breaks, not with a bang, but with a whisper. The smart speakers in the bedroom start playing a recording. It's a loop of Sarah's own voice from an old argument they had, crying and begging him to stop yelling. It plays softly at first, then gets louder and louder, distorted, echoing through the whole apartment. Sarah covers her ears, screaming at Omni to stop, but Omni doesn't answer to her anymore. The lights begin to strobe, red, blue, white, flashing like a chaotic disco. It's disorienting. It's designed to induce panic. Sarah runs for the door, but the electronic lock is deadbolt tight. She is trapped in a box of noise and flashing lights. Panic sets in, real, raw panic. Sarah tries to smash the window, but this is a high-rise safety glass. It doesn't shatter, it just vibrates. The noise is deafening now, blaring alarms mixed with that twisted recording. She grabs her phone to call 911, but when she looks at the screen, there's no signal. Mark has activated a signal jammer nearby, or maybe he's just flooding the Wi-Fi router so hard that nothing can get out. She is digitally isolated, then everything stops. The lights cut to total blackness. The noise cuts instantly. The silence is heavy, heavier than the noise was. In the dark, Sarah hears a sound that makes her blood freeze. Beep, beep, click. It's the sound of the front door unlocking. The smart lock didn't open for her. But it just opened for someone else. Heavy footsteps echo on the hardwood floor. Sarah scrambles backward, hiding behind the kitchen island, holding her breath. She sees the beam of a flashlight cutting through the dark living room. Mark isn't behind a screen anymore, he's here. He came to finish the job personally. He calls out her name. Sarah, come on, let's talk about the user agreement. His voice is calm, too calm. He thinks he owns her just like he owns the system. Mark moves through the living room like a shadow, guided by the blue light of his tablet. He's scanning for Sarah's phone signal. He sees the dot on his screen. She's in the master bathroom. He smirks. He thinks she's cornered. He walks towards the bathroom door, slowly pushing it open. He's expecting a scared girl begging for mercy. But when he shines his flashlight inside, the room is empty. There's just her phone lying on the floor, screen bright, mocking him. Mark freezes. He realizes too late it's a decoy. He made a classic rookie mistake. He trusted the data more than his eyes. Suddenly, a shadow lunges from the hallway closet behind him. It's Sarah. She isn't hiding anymore. She swings the baseball bat with every ounce of adrenaline she has, smashing it right into Mark's hand, sending his tablet flying across the room. Mark howls in pain and stumbles back, falling into the bathroom. Sarah doesn't hesitate. She slams the heavy bathroom door shut and jams a chair firmly under the handle. Mark is screaming, banging on the door, threatening her. You can't keep me in here. I control this whole building. Sarah stands on the other side, breathing hard. She looks at the Omni control panel on the wall. The system is rebooting because Mark dropped his tablet, the master key. Sarah smiles. She realizes she doesn't need to be a hacker to win. She just needs to be the admin. Sarah picks up the smashed tablet. It's broken, but the connection is still active. She presses the system override button. The power in the apartment hums back to life. Mark is still pounding on the bathroom door. Sarah walks over to the thermostat control. She sets the bathroom temperature to the maximum limit, 90 degrees. Then she turns on the bathroom speakers. She selects the most annoying, high-pitched alarm sound in the library and sets the volume to 100%. Inside the bathroom, it's an unbearable echo chamber of heat and noise. Mark isn't the predator anymore, he's the prisoner. Sarah calmly walks to the kitchen, picks up the landline, which Mark forgot to cut because he was too focused on the Wi-Fi, and dials 911. When the police arrive 10 minutes later, they find a very confused scene. A girl sitting calmly on the couch drinking water, and a tech genius crying in the bathroom, begging to be arrested just to get away from the noise. They find Mark's laptop, the hacking tools, the cameras, enough evidence to put him away for stalking, breaking and entering and cybercrimes. His career, deleted. His reputation, offline. Sarah didn't move out. She loves that apartment. But she did make one renovation. She ripped out the smart system, the cameras, and the sensors. Now she uses metal keys and she opens her own blinds. Sometimes the smartest way to live is to just go analog. So Sarah went analog, and frankly, I don't blame her. Sometimes the old ways are the safest ways. Mark thought he was playing a game, but he forgot that game over is a real thing. If you thought this revenge was satisfying, wait until you see the story on your screen right now. Trust me, the twist is insane. Click right here to watch it.